Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Khalees, and today I'm just going to be talking about why you are only a failure if you stop. I'm gonna be crocheting while I speak to you guys. I'm currently making a poncho. I'll put all of the information for the poncho down in the description. This is a pattern made by Molly, and it's such a beautiful poncho. I'm so excited to finish it. I'm currently on the outer square, so because I already completed the miniature square that goes inside of the big square, I'm pretty much gonna be done after this. So I'm so excited, and you guys will totally see me wearing this. I'm gonna be styling it with this green dress I have. I already have plans for this, but I'm gonna just be crocheting as I tell you guys about this. So as you guys may know, or maybe you don't, I recently applied to FIT. And if you don't know what FIT is, it's the Fashion Institute of Technology, and it's in New York City. And I have been wanting to move to New York City for such a long time. I feel like I have outgrown where I live now, and I'm just searching for something more fulfilling for my creativity. I used to be a dancer. I thought that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and that ended up not happening. And so I do end up still having a connection with dance, and I would love to reconnect with that. And that has been a huge push for why I want to move so bad, because if I move to a city that is more suited for my creative interests and hobbies, I will have more access to that hobby. And New York City is definitely one of those places that could hone the skill of dance, and then also to knock out two birds with one stone, also my fashion design degree that I'm currently earning right now. So I applied to FIT, and just like everyone else who applied for the late decision, we got our acceptance or rejection letters on April 1st. And I had thought I was going to get in. I worked a lot harder on my portfolio than from the first time I made a portfolio, and I really thought that I had a chance of getting in because I worked hard. My pieces were actually wearable. The first time I made a portfolio, the clothes weren't as wearable, but these clothes, you could actually put them on and go outside. You know, they weren't gonna fray. They were well made pieces, and I thought I was gonna get in. I was so proud of myself for how far I had come. I was so confident in my ability to get in. I was telling everyone that I was gonna go. I just really had a lot of faith for this, and I was trying to speak it into existence, but it wasn't even like I had to speak it into existence. I already felt that I had earned everything that I said I did, because it just felt so connected to me. I even started applying for free housing in New York City, because they do offer free apartments. So if you didn't know that and you're watching and you want a free apartment somewhere, look up free apartments and then type in the city. They might have apartments specifically for people who are students and people who are doing internships in a certain state or city, and they'll give you a free apartment. You know, of course, other people will be applying, but it's definitely such a beautiful opportunity. So I would recommend that if you did not know about that. But I was applying to free housing. Obviously, some of them do require you to submit the acceptance letter right when you apply the first time. So I was like, oh, okay, well, as soon as I get my acceptance letter, I am going to apply for this free housing so I can get me a free apartment right down the street from my university. Well, as I've already mentioned a couple of times, I did get rejected from FIT. And after I got that rejection letter, I felt so baffled, I guess is just the best way to explain it. This was one of the many times, but this is a specific time where I had so much faith in something and receiving something. I felt like I already had it, and it did not happen. So that really stunned me, because imagine having so much faith for something, praying for something so much, working hard for something, visualizing this. It's on your vision board. You speak of it all the time in high regards as if you already have it, and it just does not happen. You know, that's going to make you second guess a lot. It really will. And that is what happened, and I guess currently is happening, because that was April 1st. Today's April 3rd. And yeah, I'm still like going through the motions, because I feel like I'm pretty much mostly over it, which is, I'm not sure if I can even say that, because it's only been 2 days, 3 if we're counting the day I received it. So it's just like, are you over it? Or, you know, but when I do say that I'm over it, I just feel like I have a new mission now. I'm not as focused on the rejection aspect of it. Because when I first got that letter, my first thought was, I'm going to write an appeal letter. I'm going to write an appeal to FIT and basically just ask them to please reconsider their decision to not let me in. That was my first initial thought. But after more thoughts, I was thinking, this is just not what I asked for. Like, when I pray for something so specific and I don't see it happening how I specifically prayed for it, I will just kind of leave it alone, because this is not what I prayed for. This is not what I asked for. This isn't what I wrote for me. This isn't what is on my vision board. That's not what I asked for, you know? It's also like, I'm not sure if everyone has TikTok, but if you've seen, there's this video of this girl talking about manifestation, and she's using a restaurant example. And this restaurant, it doesn't have a menu. Or it does have a menu, but the only thing on the menu is fries. And she's asking the waitress, like, how come everyone else is having all of these other meals? I see the girl over there, she has pizza, and the other girl sitting next to her has pasta, but the only thing on this menu is fries. And the waitress tells her, well, you have to ask for that. They got those things because they asked for it. They didn't want the fries on the menu, so because they took that leap of faith and they knew that they weren't going to reject themselves, but they were going to ask, and if they got rejected then that is what it is. But they were still true to themselves, and they were like, I'm going to ask for what I want, because I don't want fries, so I'm going to ask for pizza, even though I don't see it on the menu. Even though this doesn't seem possible, I'm going to ask for what I want. And so the waitress is telling the woman this, and she's like, oh, well, I don't want fries then. I'm glad you told me that, so I'll take the pasta. So the waitress says, okay, she walks away. This is all a TikTok skit. The waitress comes back, and she still gives this woman fries. And the woman is so defeated, because she's like, dang, like, I thought that if I just asked for what I wanted, it would be given to me. Like the woman explained, like, I'm seeing all these other people getting the dishes that they want. Fries was the only thing on the menu, and I'm still only getting fries even after I asked for what I wanted. So she's sitting there with the fries, and then she calls the woman back over there, and she's like, hey, I thought you said I could have whatever I wanted. And the waitress is saying, you can, but why did you accept the fries? This is so long-winded, but the video is much cooler. I will probably link that down below too. I always say I'm gonna link stuff down below, and I never do, but this time I will. But the waitress is like, you don't have to accept the fries. You can send it back, because that's not what you asked for. So the woman is like, oh, like she's kind of learning how to attract things for herself through the waitress. The waitress is teaching her how to get what she wants. And then after that lesson, the waitress asks her, would you like to have the fries as an appetizer while I bring your pasta? And she says yes. So the point of that, all of that was to say, I did not ask for a rejection letter. I didn't ask to be waitlisted. I didn't ask for these bumps in this road. So for me to write an appeal letter, and this is something that I've been battling with, because I also believe in asking for what you want. So because I would have to write an appeal letter to get in. It's just not what I asked for. You know what I mean? That's not what I asked. So it's like, why would I go out of my way to write an appeal letter? But then again, I also believe in asking for what you want. So it's like, I could just write an appeal letter and possibly get an acceptance, or also possibly get rejected. You know, it could be either or. You know, it's just something I've been dealing with. And I was talking to my friend about it, and she was like agreeing with me on the sense of that if they did not want you, then, you know, don't beg them, don't ask them again. And I kind of agree with that. So for now, I'm gonna just leave it where it's at. I'm gonna just leave it there. But what I want to say is that I do not feel like a failure. Even though I have been telling people around me that this is a life that's destined for me and that I will be moving to New York, I still don't feel like a failure, because I know that that's true. And I know it's true because I dream of it, and I will always get what I want either way. Like, one thing I've always noticed about myself, especially when I make vision boards, is I always get what I want. Everything I put there will happen, has happened, or it's currently happening. It may not work at the pace that I desired for it to happen, but that can be something that I work on the more I continue setting goals for myself, because sometimes the delays come from ourselves. We could be slacking, we could be being inconsistent. There could be many factors in what contributes to something being a bit more delayed. But even though I have delayed myself, my desires, because of my own actions, I still have the favor from God to still receive these things. So it's not like I feel like I'm a failure. Oops. Sorry, someone was calling me. So I was like, I just really hope that the sound does not cut out. But as I was saying, I don't feel like a failure, because I know that this is still my future. The only thing that this rejection is doing for me right now is to focus more on my creativity. So right now, I'm currently in my second semester, freshman year. Second semester can get really hectic, because just like students, just like students being lazy in the second semester, teachers are also lazy. The professors are also pretty lazy in the second semester. So instead of teaching at the same, at the same pace, instead of teaching at the same pace as they did as the beginning of the year or before the midterms, they're kind of getting in the habit of giving more homework instead of teaching at the same pace as they were before, like I've said. And they don't want to give that much class time. They would rather just have you do stuff on your own time, in your free time, instead of giving you that class time. Because if they gave you that class time, they wouldn't be able to teach more and fit all of these information into such a short time span, because as the year goes by, they probably paced it differently, and now they have to kind of rush and teach through everything. So it's just kind of like that's what's going on right now. And second semester has been very hectic because of that, and I haven't even really had time to get work done and also feed my creative endeavors. Like, I've always wanted to pour so much energy into this channel, but it's just getting harder the more and more I have work. But even now, I'm on Easter break, so that's why I am recording a video. And also, after my rejection, I am basically entering a mode of do it tired, do it anyway, to basically put a lot of physical energy into everything that I want. So before, I was visualizing my success. I could see it. I would even dream about it, like actually like in my sleep. I would see these in my dreams, and I feel like I'm already there. I guess spiritually, I'm already living that life. So now, after my rejection, it's just teaching me, and it's also pushing me to move forward, to physically live the life. So now I am, like, the first thing I did yesterday, I went to the gym, which I've been doing consistently already, but it just felt different. It just felt more intentional on the physical side. I was just working really hard. The rejection just really is pushing me into being a very physical person, into getting things done. It's really pushing me to work harder than I ever have before, and go after the things I want in a physical sense. Also, I would say shooting this YouTube video right now, it's pushing me to be more consistent with my YouTube, because I always wanted to make a YouTube channel. When I was younger, I would make videos all the time. Obviously, I didn't know how to post them, but that was always a dream of mine. I've always just wanted to have a YouTube channel and have an online community, because it's so cool, and I love how accessible YouTube is and the opportunities it can give someone. So I've always wanted a YouTube channel, and because of that, I'm going after that more physically now. One sec, I'm gonna count this really quick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. But yeah, and then I'm also finding out a new way to market myself on TikTok, because TikTok is a very weird place, and I'm not even gonna say that I even want to be famous on TikTok or gain much of an audience on there, because people are so wishy-washy. What I like about YouTube is that you can build a more consistent fan base, or supporters. You wouldn't attract just any randoms right off the bat. TikTok, it's a lot more random. It's more about being entertaining more than anything, rather than actually building something more structured and foundational. But I also will try to build on TikTok. I won't just abandon my page on there. I would even say TikTok is the most consistent platform that I post on right now, and it's not even all that great, I would say. And then I also want to curate my Instagram. I want to post on Instagram. Right now I have nothing up, so I'm going to be focusing on curating my Instagram. I just want to build more flows of income for myself. That's what I'm more focused on right now, is getting more income. That's what this rejection has been pushing me to do. So yes, that is basically all I have to say in terms of being rejected. It doesn't mean that I'm a failure. It doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of what I wanted. It's just not now. Because like I said, I already know that this is destined for me. I always get what I want. It's just not my time. And I can accept that, and I have accepted that. Even though it seems like I've moved on too fast, sometimes I feel like I do move on too fast from things. It feels too quick, too easy. Sometimes I'm like, this is a little too resilient, but that's just what I am, is resilient. I always come out stronger after going through something. That's just who I am, and I'm kind of just used to this process, so I guess I can give myself the credit for that. But this was a great learning experience, and I already can't wait to apply again. Maybe I will discover a new school. Maybe I want to go to Paris this time instead of New York. Who knows? So we will see, and you guys will see as well, because I'm of course going to document all of this. And I'm still going to show my portfolio on here eventually. I'll show you guys what I submitted, and if anyone who is a fashion design major or just knows about how to curate a portfolio will give me tips, please do in the comments when that video does come in the future. But I appreciate anyone who's listening, and I want anybody to know that just because you were rejected does not mean that you failed or that you're unworthy of this. It just means you need to work harder, and that's okay. And it could also mean that maybe it's not the place for you. It could mean so many things, but the main priority of that rejection is to not take it personally. Even though it's your personal work, they're personally, rejecting you. Don't take it personal in a way that you are beating down on yourself and you're self-loathing. You just don't deserve that. We need to give ourselves more grace. I'm pretty sure I've said this in plenty other videos. You need to give yourself more grace and congratulate how far you've come. And congratulate yourself already in advance for the comeback you will have from that rejection. And thank God for grounding you in this place of hard work. Because some of us, we'd probably have not been working as hard, or we haven't created something as grand as we can. And that's probably what God is trying to show us, is that you actually can go a lot further. You actually can become a lot more advanced before you move up, because you don't want to move up and you're too behind. Because it's okay with being behind, because just like they say, when you run with faster people, you eventually become faster. So you will eventually acquire those skills, but it's also nice to pave the way where you are. It's nice to have certain accolades and building this reputation for being so great in the place you are right now. So I want everyone to focus on that. If you are facing rejection, focus on building this success and these desires that you have for another institution or another place. Build those right now. Start physically becoming that person right now, and instead of just thinking about it. So I want you to dress how you would dress if you switched institutions, if you changed states. I want you to create whatever you would create if you were at your dream institution right now. I want you to physically become that person, to physically receive that praise in the institution you are right now, so that you can embody this clearly and you will be prepared to step into that future version of yourself when you do move up. So I'm so proud of everyone watching. I want everyone to know that rejection is redirection, and you are only a failure if you stop trying. And that is very important to remember. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.